Remember that article we read together literally 2 days ago, where one of God's most disingenuous, dishonorable, and untrustworthy of creatures, a games journalist, informed us that the release of Stellar Blade in an uncensored form was no reason to celebrate. After all, what censorship even exists in the modern world? It's a fantasy where the bad people, such as us, merely use this alleged censorship as ammunition in a culture war that totally isn't even happening. Because, of course, there is no war on attractive characters in modern entertainment. Well, since the universe literally exists for no other reason but to prove the left, and games journalists in general, wrong, we then got Velma Season 2, where this character right here is introduced. This character, this desiccated crack whore, which is, I believe, to be the most charitable description of her, is Thorn. Now, if you're a very die-hard Scooby-Doo fan, you might know of her as she was introduced in 1999 in a movie called The Witch's Ghost, which was a direct-to-video release. Now, this is some fairly obscure Scooby-Doo lore here, but allow me to put up the 1999 variant so that you can see how faithfully she has been recreated. Again, there is no war on attractive characters. It simply isn't real. It's just something that all of us have made up to wage an imaginary culture war. Yes, that's how that works. Because, Thorn wants a very attractive goth chick with a bit of a vampire touch to her. Well, she's now not only grown up, she is positively ancient, even though Velma is younger than ever. Why is this the case? Well, presumably it's because you can't actually have attractive female characters, something that Velma as a show does very well, where I do believe that the only character that could be considered at least mildly attractive, Daphne, is lesbian, of course, and this new crackhead introduction. She's a single mother who gave up her career in the goth punk band, where she was known as Thorn, and I think, was it called the Witch's Girl? Or the Hex Girls? The Hex Girls. That was it. She gave that up to become a occult book writer. And a single mother, again, which, did I mention that? I think I maybe mentioned that. Where her daughter will now be joining Velma and the rest of the gang in solving pointless mysteries and probably carrying out countless grotesque acts. I do not know what these grotesque acts are, nor will I, God help me, ever know, as I do not intend to watch Velma Season 2. I only saw this part, and with any luck, I will never see any more, as Velma Season 1 was... How does one even describe it? I don't think there is a way to describe it properly without a affluent usage of words that have long since been banned on YouTube, and probably a rather elevated volume level, frankly, as it seemed to be a studied attempt to just decapitate the entire series. No, decapitation is too humane. It's swift, it kills you rather rapidly, severing the neck, etc. Velma was more akin to being ground up into hamburger paste, feet first, in a very slow-turning, manually cranked machine. Yeah, that's probably more along with it. Oh, and you have some ability to not die of blood loss because you're being pumped full of fresh blood, even as you're being passed down into the grinder. That seems more apt. Yeah, that does seem more apt to compare Velma to that, as it studiously went through every single point of Scooby-Doo and slaughtered it. And Season 2, from what little I have seen on literally a paused screen looking for examples here, well, it does seem to be a general continuation of that proud tradition. God, Jesus. And hey, I mean, on the bright side, if any further evidence was needed, which at this point, you know what, I don't even think it is, but as the universe does indeed exist solely to prove the left wrong, I do suppose it's a wonderful addition to the debate. So, whenever somebody goes, in a very honest way, of course, as a games journalist, and go, well, is it really a good thing that Stellar Blade released uncensored? Which there are already some suggestions that maybe it wasn't released as uncensored as we were all perhaps hoping, but oh well. Surprise, surprise, I do suppose. It's like, hey, show us what was on the chopping block. Well, Thorn was on the chopping block. Any attractive female character whatsoever, in fact, is on the chopping block. And being transformed into a crack-addicted gargoyle, well, that, I guess, is the best-case scenario. At least she still exists, I do suppose, unlike her husband, I presume, with which she had the child, which has been, disappeared. Because it is a modern piece of entertainment, after all, and you've got to have a single female mother in there somewhere. You know what? I was about to say, that's a bit of a double mention right there, but considering the current definition of gender, not actually. No, that is a necessary point of additional data, just to make sure that you know the situation here. And, boy, this is one of the more remarkable ones. Part of me feels bad for even giving attention to the show in this roundabout way, but somehow I don't think this is going to encourage any of you to go and find it for yourselves. So, not that bad really, but God, what a demonstration. What a brilliant, beautiful demonstration here of literally 1999 to 2024. What a fantastic visualization of the war on women that is currently being waged exclusively in progressive circles, attempting to turn anything and everything, even remotely feminine, into something actually honest to God repulsive. I'm pretty sure there are monsters in this show less repulsive than this creature. And from such a basis too. I'm imagining, is this the next frontier? After having basically eradicated traditional women, turning them into women plus, now the progressivist hordes are turning their eyes on their once allies in goth and alt girl communities and going, well, I'm sorry, we've managed to destroy everything that preceded you, and now the men are beginning to turn their eyes on you. And as the eradication of the male gaze in all of its forms is our eventual goal, it seems, we're going to have to destroy you as well. Don't look surprised. You should have known this was coming all along. And indeed, yes, you kind of should. It kind of feeds back to the point I've been making in the last few videos, right? Where even if, in the Custodes thing, right, to bring it back to female Custodes, this is a bit of a tangential point. Even if you look at that and think to yourself, well, I don't really care, representation, whatever. They sort of kind of didn't really explain it, but they left it vague enough to the point where I can swallow it because I literally have no standards. Well, here's the thing. Yet again, sooner or later, your definition of tolerance, your limits will be reached. And as the very definition of progressivism is to ever push past those limits, no matter where they may be, well, I guess this will be the next step in the conquest of women plus. Goth girls plus. What features are we going to add, you may wonder? Oh, don't worry, we won't be adding a whole lot, we'll just be subtracting. Unless we're out at the point where we'll be giving them penises, but, considering modern society, that's pretty much already been done, and we'd hate to retread all ground now, would we, for lack of inspiration, I guess? But yeah, Velma Season 2. I didn't think it had any chance of being better than Season 1. I don't think anyone on Earth thought it had any better chance at being better than Season 1, and it certainly had no element of hope or possible existence in any number of alternative universes in which it could actually be transformed into an faithful adaptation, or even worse, an actual continuation of what came before. And yet, there's a certain schadenfreude in seeing the depths to which the opposition will happily stoop in order to ruin a thing beyond not merely just salvation. We reached that point about, half a season ago, but the point of actual unironic obliteration. Hey, if nothing else, you've got to give them that. They are a very thorough lot, our opponents. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching, and don't watch anything related to Velma ever again. Have a good day.